Hey guys, welcome. This is Mark Crypto Boy, and as it is Saturday, the 3rd of July. There's a crypto boy in everyone. I'm sure of it. Even you girls out there, there's a crypto boy inside you somewhere. If you've just stumbled across the channel, please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. If you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel so then you'll get updates on new videos that I release. If you want me to talk about anything specific, any projects that you're interested in or you want to know more about, let me know. I'll research them. I'll look into them if I don't already know about them, and I'll do a bit of deep diving. I'll do a bit of deep diving. Not forget the dig. Don't know where that come from. Yeah, and so if you're here today, just purely on this video. The video is specifically about Cardano, but first off, just let's have a quick look at CMC. Sorry, I was actually thinking I was sharing my YouTube page, so just again, quickly, just have a quick look at it, familiarize yourself with the page. Hopefully it looks pretty decent. Up here, you've got my links to Twitter and Instagram, if you can actually see my cursor. So that'll take you to the links. And yeah, please, I mean, I say it's a pretty intimate affair at the minute. There's only 17 subscribers. There was 18. Someone's actually left, which I'm pretty sad about because, I mean, it's brought the intimacy down a little bit. So it's a bit more intimate than it was. But I want the channel to grow. And I said this channel, if you're just finding it now, is for people. And I keep saying it, but I think I've got to touch on it every video, just because this might be the first time you've found the video. It's for people that are just new into crypto, or they've not been in it long, and they want to relate to someone that's in exactly the same position. I know all the other YouTubers that are out there, they've obviously been through what you're going through now. They've been through what I'm going through now. But this was probably this would have been previous cycles. So they've made the wealth. And although they can relate because they've been where we are, they're not where we are now. So that's the difference between me and everybody else. I'm just getting into crypto. Well, I got in 2018, but then I went out of it and lost lost what I invested, went down to about $500. Then it came back up again, checked it again for the first time in March 2021, a few months back. And it had obviously really gone up in price, and that's where my interest got back in, and then I've gone down the rabbit hole deep. And sometimes I just need a breath. I mean, I live in Western Australia. I can jump on my push bike and I can cycle to the beach. If I really floor it and burn some calories, I can cycle to the beach in about 3.5 minutes. And that ocean is the Indian Ocean. It is breathtaking. But can I be truthfully frank with you? Since, this is no word of a lie, since March, and I started going down the rabbit hole of being into crypto, I haven't been to the beach once. And I think that's just created a bit of realization for me. Like, what the hell? I'm like 3.5 minutes from the Indian Ocean and I haven't been to the beach because of crypto. And I mean, I'm in this room creating content and I constantly have the curtains shut, like it's like a little blackout studio, but I love it. And I think that's the thing. When you get into crypto, you lose a bit of sense of reality because you go down this rabbit hole and you start digging deep into it. And I don't mean if you've just think you can be a millionaire in a day and you've stuck $1,000 on Shiba coin. That's not getting into crypto. That's just basically gambling with your money, and you're not really interested in crypto. You just wanna get rich. I'm talking about the people out there what have fully embraced crypto and decentralization and getting away from your traditional banking system, and people having their own wealth and being in charge of their own futures and getting financial freedom and wanting better things for all the unbanked people out there, like all the countries what don't have governments that look after them. They basically have got corrupt. They're living it. They're unfortunate geographically. They're just unfortunate of where they live. They were born into they were born into a geographic area where they don't have the facility to create their own wealth because they've not really got any solid banking systems or solid governments where they can actually invest money, because half the time the currency isn't worth anything. So if you want a better future for the unbanked, which is probably half of the population of the planet, and you want people to find financial freedom, that's probably why you're in crypto. And obviously to give yourself and your family a better future, but you actually understand it and you care about it, and that's why I'm in it. That's why I've suddenly found this deep passion for crypto assets and all the different projects, and I find it all fascinating. And the further you dig, the more you realise how many good projects there are out there and how many good platforms. So anyway, the video today is basically about Cardano, and Cardano is exactly that. Cardano was created by Charles Hoskinson because he looked at all the different blockchains out there, and none of them were kind of following the path what he's following. None of them were kind of dedicating the ethos of the blockchain, the company, to helping people that can't help themselves, helping the unbanked. And that's pretty much why Charles Hoskinson has created what he's created, with the sole mission primarily to go to these third world countries and give them something where they can improve their own life. They can have a currency which is not controlled or regulated by the governments of the countries that they live in. So if you believe in any of that I've just mentioned, and you're not in Cardano, then seriously look into Cardano and look into Charles Hoskinson, and you'll see that the passion that he's got, and you'll see the community that Cardano have got. It's absolutely huge. Like, I don't think there's a bigger community. I don't think anyone could argue. In fact, I don't think anyone would argue that Cardano has got the biggest community in the whole of the ecosystem by a mile. And like, you've got a lot of Ethereum people out there that obviously Ethereum is the first to the table. They are at the minute the smart contract kings, if you will. Everything's kind of running on Ethereum. DeFi is pretty much solely on Ethereum. NFTs are pretty much solely on Ethereum. But I seriously think when Cardano comes to the table, when Alonzo mainnet goes live in August, I seriously think there's going to be a massive, massive shake-up. And you're going to get a lot of projects leaving Ethereum coming over to Cardano. Celsius is one of them. It's already they've already said that as soon as Cardano mainnet launches, they'll be transitioning over to Cardano. And I think it's going to be one of many, because the transition, basically the developers of Cardano have made it so easy for cross-platform movement, where you can go from Ethereum to Cardano pretty simple. And like Ethereum in a minute, people have got no choice to pretty much use Ethereum for DeFi and for NFTs, because it's all on Ethereum. And I think if Cardano can get this mainnet launched in August, as they say they do, before Ethereum 2.0 comes into fruition, which I think, to be honest, that's not going to happen until 2022, going off what people have been saying that obviously know a lot more than me. I think it's got a good chance of taking a big portion of the market away from Ethereum and into Cardano, because the transaction fees on Cardano are next to nothing, virtually free. I mean, for what it costs to transact on Cardano is going to be minuscule. And like, I know Charles was talking about like Ethereum hasn't got a network effect. I mean, it obviously has got a network effect, because everything's on Ethereum, and people have got no choice because everything is running on Ethereum at the minute on the blockchain. So I think Cardano will come and it will take over and it will get a big market share of Ethereum. Just all being well, it does come out in August, and it's had time for all these projects to develop on Cardano and move over from Ethereum. And then people will realise that the transaction fees are virtually free. It's costing you next to nothing. At the minute, when Ethereum's busy, it costs you like $50 to just transact, to transfer one coin to another. I mean, at the minute, it's still costing like $10 to $12 just to use Uniswap and swap one coin for another. Which, to be honest, if you're in a developing world, or you're in a Western world and you want to transact. You want to switch, I don't know, $100 of USDT to another smart contract on Ethereum. Well, if it's costing you $10 to $12, it's 10%, 10 to 12%, and it's too much. It's just too much, and it's only for the big guys that don't care, that have got massive amount of transactions, massive amount of volume when they're doing a transaction. It doesn't $10 to $12 doesn't necessarily matter. But for like all the people that are unbanked out there, or all the people that are investing small amounts, $10 to $12 transaction fees, it's too much. And what it's doing, it's pushing people over to BSC using the Binance Smart Chain and using PancakeSwap, because the transaction fees are really, really low. So I think once Cardano mainnet comes live, and then you can start transacting on Cardano, the fees are going to be minuscule. And I've really got high hopes for Cardano and the price and what's going to happen to it in the future. I mean, if you look at the developers, I mean, like Ethereum, I think has got about 75,000 developers. It might be more, I'm not sure, but I mean, that seems like a lot of developers, which it is. But you look at Cardano, I'm sure there's about 20 million developers on Cardano. And the smart contract isn't even live. Not even live. It's still in testnet. This is people developing on Cardano, ready for the launch, ready for the mainnet to go live. And a lot of these projects, what are out there, they're all there already to invest in. They're on like Ethereum or different blockchains, and they're going to migrate over to Cardano as soon as they're able to. But there's so much going on behind the scenes what you don't necessarily know about, and that comes down to my next kind of topic, which is why I was going to talk about Cardano in the first place. And it's because of this, because Grayscale have just announced that this was pinned. That's the pinned tweet. It was announced yesterday, 16 hours ago. Welcome aboard Cardano. We have adjusted the portfolio of Grayscale digital large cap funds to now include ADA. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. And if you look at where are we? So if you look at the Grayscale, the assets under Grayscale. So here we go. So you've got Bitcoin Trust, BAT, Bitcoin Cash, Chainlink, but the ADA one is like up there. I think in the large cap fund, you've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and now Cardano. And it kind of I kind of look at Bitcoin Cash as, I mean, I don't particularly like Bitcoin Cash, and I don't particularly like Litecoin. Litecoin, for me, I just think why have them when you can have Bitcoin? But I think what's happening with Grayscale, they're actually forward thinking, and they're thinking like, okay, there's only 21 million Bitcoin ever going to exist. At the minute, there's about 18.5 million Bitcoin. Of that 18.5 million, it's estimated that around 30% of that is lost. Transactions that have been sent, or high cap holders that have deceased, or transactions that have been sent to the wrong wallets. So if you think there's 18.5 million, and then out of that 18.5 million, there's probably about 30% of Bitcoin which is kind of in the ether, which the address that no one's got the seed phrases to, or the wallet address, which then kind of, that's about 5.5 million, 5.4 million. So if you think there's probably about 13.5 million Bitcoin in circulation now, and all these hedge funds, countries, corporations that are heavily investing in Bitcoin, it's going to get to a point there aren't going to be any Bitcoin. Like the price is going to be so high, but nobody's going to be prepared to sell. There's going to be a small amount always in circulation because there's always somebody. But if you think about the global market cap, if you will, the global population of like, was it 8 billion people or thereabouts, and the network effect what crypto's having and Bitcoin is having, where soon all these countries are going to be, it's going to start off with like your probably Latin Americas and your third world countries. They're all going to be adopting Bitcoin, but then the banks are all adopting Bitcoin because they've got to do, because when they take legal, when Bitcoin becomes a legal tender, then the world banks have got to accept it. They've no choice. So your banks are going to be accepting Bitcoin. So, and a lot of them already are accepting Bitcoin. Mexico have just announced the largest bank in Mexico is going to be accepting Bitcoin. It's going to be the next generation of kids. Everybody's going to own Bitcoin, and they won't be talking about Bitcoins. They'll be talking about Satoshis because they'll be fractional. But there'll be that much wealth in Bitcoin that people will be saying, "Oh, I've got 1,000 Satoshis or whatever," and I think that's where it's going to end up going. So I think Grayscale are looking probably 10 years, 20 years down the line. Might not be that long, but when you look at where Litecoin is and Bitcoin Cash is on CoinMarketCap, like, where are we? Like Bitcoin Cash is number 12. Litecoin number 14, and the market caps of these are like, well, the market cap of Litecoin, I think, is it 48 million? Sorry, wrong way around. 84 million. So I think they're looking at this as like an alternative to Bitcoin, where it's going to be like the next best thing, like digital gold version 2, if you will. And then you've got Bitcoin Cash, which again, I think it's going to be another one where it's going to be like the next best thing to Bitcoin. It's the same maximum supply, 21 million. And as everything's getting more adopted, I seriously think that people are going to start looking at alternatives to like Bitcoin version. Bitcoin Cash, obviously Bitcoin Cash is like Bitcoin 2.0, then at Litecoin, it'll be like Bitcoin 3.0. But I think that's what Grayscale are actually doing, because they're kind of foreseeing where investments are going to come from in the future, and they're going to diversify and think, right, okay, we can't have Bitcoin, but look, Litecoin's got 84 million, which is low kind of max supply. Bitcoin Cash is exactly the same, 21 million, and I think these are going to get adopted in exactly the same way, and the price is going to just increase and increase and increase. So I seriously think if you've not got Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin somewhere in your plans for getting them into your portfolio in the future, it's probably something worth doing. And now they've added Cardano, I think they realise the potential. They're looking at Ethereum, they're looking at what's going on with the smart contracts, with DeFi, with NFTs, how everything's being built on Ethereum. And I think they know now that Cardano's going to be a big player. And I think it's gonna compete at a high level with Ethereum. And I think the price of Cardano is going to reflect that. And as an investment, I seriously think Cardano is going to really take off over the next 6 to 12 months. Because as soon as this mainnet launches, and then other hedge funds start adopting Cardano, that you're going to see the price really take off. And I just wanted to share with you this little snippet on Charles Hoskinson just talking about Cardano, and people that are kind of saying, right, Ethereum's the main winner, Ethereum's got the network effect, Ethereum's the one that's gonna kind of dominate. And personally, I don't believe that. I think there's room for everything. Cardano, Ethereum, Polkadot. There's going to be a space everywhere for them. But I just wanted you to listen to this little bit of video.
We all worked really hard. Our people on the ground worked really hard, and I enjoy the fact that they finally have something so substantial to put their flag in. It's easy to do DeFi. I laugh when people say, "How will you catch up with Ethereum's network effect?" It doesn't exist. What, 80,000 developers compared to 22.6 million developers? Only 31% of the new dApps deployed in 2020 were on Ethereum. It costs $50 to do anything, even send a transaction, and I have to compete with that. That's like a karate match where the other person is 96 years old and is in a wheelchair. I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it at all. It's not a competition at all. Let them go do their thing. Great. I am so glad that as the first mover, they were able to accumulate a little bit of a monopoly, as Mosaic did in the browser wars, as MySpace did in the social media wars. That network effect means nothing to our industry. What really means things is, who have you helped? Where have you gone? What have you accomplished? Who is using this application, who will be using it 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now? And how is that changing their lives? For example, all the time people come to me and say, I'd love to do something in Africa, or I'd love to donate, but I can't even move money and give money to people in Uganda or Tanzania.
And that's the difference between Charles Hoskinson and his kind of legacy that he wants to leave behind. He wants to help people, and for everything else that Cardano will achieve with its smart contracts and DeFi, which I think will be massive, the underlying kind of goal of Charles and Cardano is to help the unbanked, help the people in third world countries that have no monetary system in place that's worth a damn, and help them get onto the crypto ecosystem and use Cardano to actually transact with other people and pay for bills, pay for utilities, and have something that's got value. And if you believe in that, if you have a similar ethos to him, okay, you want to make some good money, you want to have life-changing wealth for yourself, that's fine. There's plenty of people in it just for that. But just being part of the Cardano community, it does kind of feel pretty special, because you look at the size of the community, what Cardano has got. It is absolutely huge. And by Grayscale adopting or taking on Cardano is going to be a game changer, because this is like a domino effect. So from this point forward, now you're going to get lots of other different you get lots of different hedge funds that are going to do the same. They're going to, I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of them already are. But the ones they're classing Cardano as like the big caps, and that just says it all. They know what's coming, and they're getting in early, because they're getting in early before the price changes. Because you think about it, it's $1, varying between $1 and $1.30 at the minute, thereabouts. So they're investing heavily now, because they know where the price is going to go. As soon as Alonzo testnet finishes and it goes live to the mainnet in August, it's going to go through the roof. And I seriously believe that. And when the bull run picks up again, I think that's going to even affect it even more. I mean, I don't want to give figures. I don't want to say what I think it's going to go to. I just think if you get into Cardano now, I think in the future it will give you life-changing wealth. And I'm doing it for my super, my pension, which is 10 years from now, where I can cash it in. So I want to see where it takes me. And if you've not invested in Cardano yet, just Google Charles, follow him on Twitter, look at his YouTube videos. He does content pretty much every other day, and the passion what he's got for this for this project is unsurpassed. I don't think there's anybody that has got as much belief in what he's doing than himself, and it rubs off. I think that's why the community is so big, because his commitment, his passion, it rubs off on you, and it kind of makes you believe. And if you look at everything that they've done, I mean, the peer testing, nobody else has come close. No other projects. I mean, but all these other projects, they pretty much develop them and they launch the blockchains like Ethereum. They just launched the blockchain with all these problems that they knew were coming in the future, but they launched it anyway. Which I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but Charles is the complete opposite. He started building Cardano, and everything's been peer reviewed, everything. And that's why it's taken so long, because every little thing that's been released has been tested, and any little hiccups, any little anomalies that have come up, they've been picked up by the community that are doing the peer reviews, by academics, not just anybody. I mean, you got the best academics in the world peer reviewing everything that's been done. And that's why it's taken so long. So I think it's all culminated to this one point now. Whether he's purposefully done it, where he's kind of get the release date ready for this kind of bull run in August, where everything's kind of expecting to go through the roof. I'm sure he's a clever guy. I'm sure there's a method to when Alonzo mainnet goes live. So yeah. Not telling you to buy it. It's not financial advice, but I just wanted to make you aware of where Cardano's coming from, where its roadmap is for the future, how it's going to change millions, perhaps billions of people around the world in these developing countries, because you've got developed and you've got undeveloped, and unfortunately, undeveloped countries don't have access to a store of wealth, a store of value. They don't have access to a currency. They don't have access to, at the minute, they don't have access to any way or any means of improving the life, because geographically they were just unlucky where they grew up. And crypto and Cardano being one of the avenues is going to change that for a lot of people in these developing countries. And I'm not saying that's the only one. There's lots of different projects out there what are going to do similar things. Cardano is just the one that's been, to me, the most peer-reviewed project that's out there. And I think with Grayscale adopting it as the big cap, I think you've got to follow suit. And I think you'd be crazy not to have some Cardano in your portfolio. So on that, I'll leave it. It's been great chatting to you. If you've got any questions, if you've got any comments about Cardano or anything else, just drop them in the video. If you like the video, smash the like button. If you've watched a few now and you're kind of interested and you want to follow my journey and you want to share your journey with me, subscribe to the channel. And on that, just invest well. Invest well. Don't invest in rubbish. Choose good projects, good fundamentals, and 12 months from now, we'll look back. 4 years from that, 4 years from now, we'll look back again. And remember, this is a new kind of slogan. I only thought of it today, but remember, there's a crypto boy in all here. I love that. There really is.